that gonna work? I think it might. That's better. I'm just watching what the man that lives here is doing, whether he's going to make lots of noise. We've just come back from the hospital where I had an appointment which has been delayed and delayed and delayed, and I said to Mark yesterday, I've got an appointment tomorrow and I don't know where the paperwork is. What I had on my desk, which I thought was the invitation, was a cancellation, and I thought I'm just going to have to turn up and say I've got an appointment, but I've lost it's called a convocation. But then I found it late last night and then sort of gathered all the paperwork together, and we went off there for a 9:30 appointment, and it was for Doppler assessment of all of my, superior and inferior arteries and whatever. And it was really bizarre laying there for probably about half an hour being Dopplered and listening to my the blood going through my arteries, my circulatory system, and it was just bizarre because I was thinking that's been doing that for 68 years. It's just and you don't hear it. It's not something you hear. It was actually similar in some respects to remember they made the recordings for babies in the womb to play to them outside the womb, to settle them and whatever. It was sort of a bit similar to that. But it was really bizarre. And so I have to have that every 5 years because I probably am diabetic, and I'm going to the doctors on Monday to go back to ask for a blood test and possibly start treatment again. I was treated for diabetes, and then when we lost all the weight, I stopped needing treatment because my blood sugars were really back to normal, but I don't think they are now. So I'm going to ask him on Monday. So yeah, so that's that. I had that. That was nice to get that out of the way. And whilst we were there, we Mark checked up about what about me, because he was due to go in today, and he was due his knee surgery today, and that got delayed or cancelled, and we've not heard anything since, and we're waiting for a phone call day by day. So he's actually discovered that oh, that's where the gel was from the Doppler. I'm thinking, well, is that another bruise? But it's just, ooh. I'm going to have a good shower later. He's discovered he's got an appointment on the 21st of August with a consultant, so a new consultation. So I imagine that if it's still as it was last time, it will be a 4-week delay, and then he'll have his knee sorted in September. So but we can put that behind us for a minute and not be waiting for a phone call. So that's really nice, because otherwise we're just waiting. Yeah, so thank you for your wishes for my birthday. It was really lovely to receive those. I had a lovely day. We didn't do much, but then I don't want to do much. I'm not a very easy person around birthdays, but I had a lovely day. And yeah, that was it really. I watched Chateau wrap up last night with Amanda from, I can't tell you where from because I don't watch the Chateau, the vlogs in the Chateauverse, or the ones that I consider as Chateauverse vlogs. I don't watch them. I don't feel a need to. I don't watch them. So I haven't seen those. I did look at a few of them when I realised they were going to be interviewing Amanda last night. I watched a few of her and her husband Lincoln. And they're very nice people, very down to earth, and just getting on with the work that needs doing. But I learnt something last night from her on Chateau Wrap Up about donkeys, which for a bit it was like, oh God, the donkey they inherited with the chateau would have been sent to be slaughtered, and donkeys that have been slaughtered are sent to Italy and made into salami. Now, I didn't know that, and for a little while I thought, oh my God. And then I thought, hold on a minute. You eat cow, you eat sheep, you eat pig. What is the difference? What is the difference? Why is donkey and horse not on your list of things to eat? And I know that I don't, as far as I'm aware, and obviously in France you can't always know that. As far as I'm aware, I've not eaten horse meat. I've certainly not chosen to eat horse meat. But I cannot promise that I would not eat horse meat if there were no other meat available under, you know, certain circumstances. So I sort of thought, what is it about donkeys and horses that are different to cow, lamb and pig? Now, I know that there are people, my friend Tina for one, who is vegetarian anyway, but I can remember years ago her going, you know, how can you eat those lovely little cute lambs? How can you eat them? So I know that there are people, and there are vegetarians that don't eat any meat, and because all, you know, they won't eat anything. Some people won't eat anything with a face, or they're sentient beings. Pigs, cows, sheep, horses, donkeys are sentient beings, and many of the other things that we eat are. But I just wonder why the donkey salami thing brought me up short for a bit and made me think. And but actually thinking it through, it's like, well, why is that different? And on the same vein, I was thinking about the difference in how this culture is around animals and domestic animals compared to the UK and America, and how over here, predominantly, in my opinion, domestic animals are treated slightly differently. The dog next door, as an example, is ignored, neglected. I'm not sure whether it's been abandoned. I've not heard it being fed, and I used to hear the others being fed dried food, but that's not what I'm talking about. But it's the difference here is that somehow there are people here, and maybe it's a different generation, or maybe it's the type of person that will have a different way of being around animals. Now, I'm going to use as an example Mark from Going Solo in France, who over, I can't remember how long he's been in his house, over a period of a year or maybe longer, or two, he has taken it upon himself to take over care for the horse, which he's named Dave. I wish he hadn't named the horse Dave. Anyway, that's by the by. He's taken over care for someone else's horse, and to the point that there's someone else who is a farmer, who may be the farmer that has the cows just along the lane beside Mark, has stopped leaving water for the horse because Mark's taken over the care. And it's a very English thing, I think, to rescue animals. And I've spoken about it before, that animals seem to have a much higher priority than rescuing humans, which I find difficult. So Mark has rescued the horse, takes care of the horse, provides water for the horse, gives it an apple or two a day, has been treating an eye injury for several months, and more recently was strimming in the field and was attacked by the horse, which is horrible. The horse attacked him and bit him. So there's a pigeon up in the kiwi plant. Bit him, didn't let go, and then he ended up on the ground and was kicked, I think, in the head, but he'd got an orange helmet on where he was, because he was protecting his head where he was strimming. So luckily he could have been far more injured. And that's an awful thing to happen, and Mark knows that part of that is about he hadn't paid attention to the behaviour of the horse in earlier times, and obviously the horse felt threatened and by the strimmer, because it looks like he was trying to attack the engine of the strimmer. I don't think, might not have been attacking Mark. So it's a horrible thing for him to have gone through, and I know that he is still reeling from that. And I feel very sad for him that he's had that experience, and he now wants to remove himself. Well, it might not be where he's at now, but he wanted to remove himself from caring for the horse, because he didn't want to be around the horse, understandably, didn't want to talk to him, understandably, didn't want to do any of those things for him, understandably. But sadly, the farmer is probably over the other side of the hedge having a good old laugh, thinking, well, why would you do that for my horse? Why would you be taking care of my horse? And I don't know whether he's going to go to the farmer and say, I don't want him in my field anymore, you need to move him, or however that's going to pan out. I don't see that happening, because in subsequent videos I see him engaging with the horse again, so maybe that isn't going to happen, I don't know. But it's a very English thing, and maybe an American thing, to want to rescue animals that you feel are being badly treated, and when actually it's not an easy thing to do in France. He talked through that if he had wanted, I can't remember what it was. Now you need to go and have a look at his videos. It's called Going Solo in France. In order for him to get a vet to treat the horse, he'd have to own the horse. The horse. And there's a lot of paperwork involved in that, and he'd have to jump through hoops. Comme d'habitude here, that's what you have to do, in order to own the horse before he could get veterinary care, and he doesn't have any money and all of that. And but why would you do that? Why? I know that people are probably very unhappy that I live next door to a dog that I feel is being mistreated. And I know that when the dogs here before were being mistreated or not cared for or whatever, I didn't do anything about that either, because I can't get into a game with the person next door, because it's a game with a big G, which is TA terminology, or it's an Eric Byrne thing. You need to read about it, but we can't do that. And what I do, my priority when I am in rescue mode is rescuing humans, is doing what I can to make sure humans are being treated well. And people say, but animals can't talk, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know that, and humans can, but I just feel that animals get much more of a priority. So I wanted to talk about the difference, and I think I've probably covered it. And I know that there will be many people who are on the side of animals, because there are, especially on my vlog. The majority of my audience are English or American, so that's where they're going to be. And but there is a very different mindset here, and it's a very odd. Well, it's something I'm used to. We've been here 17 years, actually. Yeah, 17 years today. We left on my birthday. We left England on my birthday at midnight, on my birthday and arrived here today. Yeah, 17 years ago. So we've been here 17 years and we've learned a lot in that time. And being here, especially next door to here, especially, we've learned a hell of a lot. And we've learned that it's easier and better to mind your own business and shut the fuck up. And not in a way that you're being walked over, but in a not challenging someone who cannot be challenged. I think that's really important, that the person what I'm talking about is you just can't challenge. Well, you can, but you get into a game and it becomes incredibly unpleasant, and I'm not prepared to put us through. We're not prepared to go through that again, because it was hell for a long time, and we don't want to live our life like that now. So yeah, so that's my vlog. I think that's what I was going to tell you. I'm sure that's what I was going to. It was about. That's what it was going to be about. So thank you for all your comments about my my sunflowers, my Van Gogh, and yeah, thank you. I mean, I know that he's a twat, and it just kills me that he has to make people look, or attempt to make people look this big in order for him to look good, which is a very Trumpian, narcissistic thing, isn't it? You know, I've got to put people down so that I can feel good about myself. So I'm sure that underneath all of that, but the thing about narcissists is they're so defended that they are unable, you can't get through that armor for them to for them to feel vulnerable, which is why they're narcissists. So whatever. But yeah, thank you for your comments. I mean, I like it. I think I knew it was good. Yeah, I did know it was good, but I just was so pissed off. You know, it's like somebody saying, oh, this book's crap and it's not even been edited and I haven't finished it. Mad. What else? Can I show you that? I might show you that in a minute. Yeah, the lavender. It doesn't show up very well in this light. That's pigeons nesting in the kiwi bushes up there. The lavender is absolutely full of butterflies, and when I walked past it last night to the car at about, I don't know, about 6:30, there was just this whole of butterflies. It was really pretty. Let's go and see if we can have a look at it. Hold tight. I'm going to pause you so you don't have to move much. I can't really see what you can see. It's full of little butterflies, swallowtails, I think they're swallowtails, and hummingbird hawk moths. It's really lovely. Okay, have a nice day. See you again.